Hi, today I'm going to be showing you how you can use LiveSheets to solve very specific problems. And to illustrate that, I'm going to show you how we recently did this for a customer, and they wanted to report utilization differently to the way that Fresh Projects reported. And we could do this very easily with LiveSheets because the way LiveSheets work is that you can pull in any information from Fresh Projects into a standard Excel sheet and then manipulate it the way you want to. So you can choose things, for example, what date range you want the report to run over, but more importantly, you can choose from an array of different data feeds that populate into your spreadsheet automatically every time that you open it. For this report, I'm just going to worry about timesheets, and I'm only going to worry about a couple of fields: the employee, which month it is, whether it's an overhead project they booked time to, and how many hours they booked. Now, importantly, for this specific report, we wanted to pull in the billing tag, which indicates whether or not that time has been allocated to an invoice or not. And off the back of that, we could actually create a calculated field which would look at both the fact of whether the time was an overhead or the billing tag and dynamically work out, which is unique to this customer, just whether that time is billable or not. Now, in the past, we would have had to build out a new feature into Fresh Projects to support this flag. And now it just becomes a simple Excel formula. So once your live sheet has been set up, and you only have to do that once, you can go ahead and run that at any given time, and that will open up a version of Excel for the web on your computer with the latest and greatest and live Fresh Projects data pulled into the tab. So here is all the raw data coming straight out of Fresh Projects. So we can see which employee it was, which month it did, whether that time was an overhead or not, and how many hours they booked. Now, importantly, for this client, we've got an indicator of which invoice number this was booked to, or if that time was written off, or if it hadn't been billed yet. And off the back of that, we've got a custom Excel formula that's automatically created to tell us whether or not that time is billable or not. And now I can just use this information to create a pivot table to report on it. So that's a pretty cool way to run a report. But the most powerful thing is that if for whatever reason the data changes, or you change your, for example, your date range, your existing Excel report still lives there with whatever changes you made to it, but we just come in and replace the underlying data with the latest information. So as new data comes into your system, or if you change date ranges, we will repopulate your underlying spreadsheet data, and it'll update with the latest information every single time you open it. Isn't that amazing?
The problem with static spreadsheets is that firstly, you have to go and find the latest data and put it into your spreadsheets. And that might be a CSV export from a system. It might be going to speak to your colleagues and asking them for the copy of their spreadsheet. And then secondly, you end up with copies of the spreadsheet everywhere. So you might have a copy on your desktop, you might have a copy on the server, you might have a friend that you emailed it to that they've made a copy of it and made an adjustment, and trying to pull together the latest and greatest information is a nightmare. So having a single live spreadsheet that's shared by everyone but populated automatically with the latest data is a complete game changer from that perspective. So the problem with reporting at the moment in architecture and engineering practices is that it tends to rely on a whole lot of disparate data sources. And by that, I mean, each architect or engineer might have their own spreadsheets that they're keeping on their computer with their particular information. You might be relying on accounting information coming from your bookkeeping system. And very often trying to get a full picture of the basis of all these different data sources is very difficult. And what managers end up doing is spending all their time debating whether the data is correct rather than making decisions on what to do to drive the business forward. So we realized that bringing this all together into one single source of the truth that always has the latest and up-to-date information is going to be a game changer. In a nutshell, LiveSheets is, I think, one of the most exciting developments in the market. So what we've done is we've got the ability for you to open up a normal Excel spreadsheet that you know how to use, where you know how to create your own graphs, your own formatting, your own tables, but we will inject in real time the latest project financial information into that spreadsheet. So you can bring in all your time that's been spent on all your projects. You can bring in all your invoicing, all your expenses, all your resourcing, all of that. Every time you open your spreadsheet, you've got the latest and up-to-date information about your practice live in your spreadsheet. You have one single source of truth, one single spreadsheet with the latest data. The spreadsheet itself lives within Fresh Projects. So you don't have various copies living around on different laptops and different servers. So one single source of the truth with the latest up-to-date information that allows you as a business to make instantaneous decisions